Welcome, everyone. I'm speaking to you from beautiful 7300 University Hills Boulevard. It's good to be on campus today. Wish we could all be together. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please consider submitting questions as we go through the presentation today. If things spark your interest, please don't hesitate to send us questions. We'll take those toward the end of our time together. So our theme today is emerging stronger. And I think all of us don't want to just get through this. I don't think any of us want to just gut it out, although we have to do both of those. We actually want to apply what we've learned to make things better, to come out on the other end of this a stronger campus. Stronger because of what we've been through and how we've engaged and how we've been agile. This is what's best for our students, for our faculty, for our staff, and for each other. We can't also forget our community partners and the community we serve. All of this fits together in our important mission. We'll talk more about this in a moment, but first, I'd like to ask our safety specialists to update you on the present circumstances that we're all confronting right now. With us today are Steve Maricheski, our Vice Chancellor for Planning and Facilities, who's been on point for the entire UNT system through this pandemic. Dr. Jamaica Chappell, Associate Vice President, Dean of Students, and John Bullock, our Risk Manager. Steve?
Thank you, President Bong, and thank you for your leadership during these unprecedented times. The challenges have certainly been great. Good morning, everyone. I want to start by outlining the challenges we're still facing. As you're probably all aware, the case counts in Dallas County continue to rise, which is placing an incredible burden on our healthcare support systems and our healthcare workers who are increasingly exhausted. Yesterday, Dallas County had the second highest daily COVID fatality count since the onset of the pandemic. We are in a condition where we need to be extra cautious to control the spread and reduce the stress on our hospital resources. The good news is vaccines are on the way. The Pfizer vaccine is already approved and being administered in the UK, and we expect a positive vote today from the FDA for emergency use in the United States. This would mean that the first doses will start shipment immediately. While we're a long way off from full immunization, it is exciting to know the process is starting. The first doses will go to our critical infrastructure personnel, then our long-term care workers and residents. And in terms of the UNT world, we'll continue to provide the safest environment possible given the challenges. Our guidelines around social distancing, personal protective equipment, travel, isolation, and quarantine continue to be updated to match the latest CDC recommendations. We're holding weekly safety meetings to address incremental return plans, and we are pressing forward with vaccination plans at each of our campuses. The current plan for the UNT Dallas campus consists of a partnership with UNT HSC, who will hopefully be the provider for our vaccines when they're available. Your team here, led by Dr. Jamaica Chappell and Johnny Bullock, has been working tirelessly to ensure maximum safety for our students, faculty, and staff. That concludes my brief comments. I'll be available for questions. There's a whole lot of detail that goes into what we do. We have endless amount of information to share if you're interested, but I'd like to now turn to Jamaica Chappell for her update.
Thank you, Steve, and good morning, everyone. We're so happy that you guys are joining us today. I just want to quickly talk to you about what's happening with our residence life team and our student resident community, as well as what we'll be doing for our spring considerations for student study spaces. So our fall semester really marked a great success. I'm very proud of our housing and residence life team and our student resident community for really adhering to those safety protocols and measures that we have in place to make sure that everyone stays safe. And so what I would have you all know is that during the course of the fall term, we went through 4 rounds of random sample testing in the residence hall, all of which resulted in negative tests for our resident students. And I think that is well attributed to everyone wanting to be accountable and everyone wanting to ensure that the community stays as safe as possible. So I am so proud of our Housing and Residence Life team, and I'm grateful for our student resident community. For the spring, we will open back up with 50% capacity in the residence hall. That's about 56 students. And we will also continue with making sure that we are adhering to the safety protocols and measures that we have in place so that our community can be the safest it possibly can. We will also continue with our random sample testing, and student residents upon their return will need to make sure that they have a negative test that they have available, and we will also be testing on the day that they arrive. So we're continuing full steam ahead with our student resident experience, and we look forward to all the spring has to offer for our student resident community. Students, we want you to know that we've heard you in terms of the need for on-campus study. We do have a committee that has been working tirelessly to put together what would be a good plan in thinking about how we could do that safely and effectively for you. And so this committee has looked at survey results that you have provided for the university. And in our thinking about how we can do this safely, we want you to know that there will be some follow-up down the road about the potential and opportunity for there to be on-campus study in a quiet study zone area for students in the spring semester. And so with that, I'd like to pass it along to Johnny Bullock to talk to you about our risk management and spring opportunities.
Good morning, Trailblazer family. We're so glad to be with you this morning. We as a university approached the COVID with a very conservative approach, and part of that was due to the protocols and safety procedures that we implemented back in the spring and followed through with the fall. We will continue to do those in the spring semester. And so if you have questions about that, you can feel free to contact me at my email, which is there on the screen, johnnybullock@untdallas.edu, and I'll be glad to help you. But I'm the gatekeeper for the university. So if you have any need or plan to come to the university, you need to come and get approval. And so you need to contact me, and then Chief Shaw and I look at the request and approve them or deny them depending on what's happening. So as you know, that all the classes and events need to be approved, all activities on the campus, all classes, events have to be approved by the vice president of your area, be sent to the safety committee to be reviewed and approved for you to have that event or activity on campus. We're asking that if you have a plan for needing to come back or a class that needs to take place on campus, that you have the plans to us at least 2 weeks before your planned event or need takes place, to give us time to look at it and to help you make adjustments if needed to continue to be safe. So as you know, that at this time, there's no major events or programs being allowed for the spring semester. And so if you have some type of need, if you'll reach out to us, we'll see if we can accommodate you for that. Our biggest message for the holiday is to stay home, to stay safe, and stay healthy. And because we followed those plans, we have had some of the least numbers of any university in the state of Texas because of our conservative approach, which we will continue. So thank you, and I will turn it back to President Mong.
You're muted, President.
Thank you, Steve, Jamaica, and John. I want to take just a couple of minutes to look back and then a couple of minutes to look forward. First of all, I'm very proud that all of us work together to end the year financially in the black. It's a rare occurrence among the 4,000 U.S. colleges, universities, and community colleges. Many of you read that the Moody's rating group downgraded higher education from stable to negative during this period. We're stable. One industry group estimates that all of this collateral damage to higher education from the pandemic has amounted to about a minimum $23 billion loss in revenue. It's also rare that UNT Dallas has avoided furloughs and layoffs even among student workers. We've watched our resources closely, and we've been able to accomplish this so far. We also, I think, benefited from good working relationships in the way we created our work plans. Mutual accountability has existed. That's important. That builds trust. And I feel a very trusting relationship with our entire working community at UNT Dallas. I'm very proud of our communications team for working with the community for the frequent updates to the faculty, staff, and students. We've gotten excellent feedback on how to continue to evolve this and refine this communication. And I would encourage you, if you have an idea on improving communications, to let us know. We did a national search, found an outstanding CFO. You'll be hearing from him in a moment, Arthur Bradford. I'm also proud that we recorded another record year of graduations. Between fiscal year 15 and fiscal year 20, we went from 475 grads to 876, nearly a 90% increase. We had record summer and fall enrollment, and we conducted our first alumni survey. 17% of our alums answered 43 questions. And I would say the main takeaway, there was a lot of learning in this, but the main takeaway was the vast majority of them were very positive about the value of their education. We'll keep doing these, and at any point, if student government, faculty senate, staff council would like to be briefed on the alumni survey, we'd be happy to do it. Looking forward briefly, just want to remind everybody of the 6 p.m. commencement tomorrow. The commencement committee has done an outstanding job, and our students have worked with us very closely on making this an exciting celebration. Spring enrollment is looking very positive. VP Hawley will update you shortly on that. We're hard at work preparing for the 87th legislature. I've been meeting along with some of my colleagues with every member of the Dallas delegation. I had a phone call late yesterday with one of them, and I'll meet with them in total on a panel next week. We're obviously pushing hard for a science building. Dr. Betty Stewart, whom you'll hear from after me, did a great job putting together that proposal to the legislature. We need that science building. I'm working hard to roll back a draconian rider that was put on the end of the budget bill at the end of the 86th session that really targets the 3 main developing universities in the state, us, A&M San Antonio, and Clear Lake. So we're working with our delegations in each city to try to kill this thing off. And we're trying to get it into the base bill. And we're also working to get sustained support from the legislature on our outstanding Trailblazer Elite retention program. And we're looking for support for them for our new Center for Socioeconomic Mobility through Education. The next time we meet, I'll have the leader of that center, Michael Williams, brief you on the progress we're making, and the progress has been substantial. Dr. Williams and I are spending more time on fundraising and grants. She'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. And we'll break ground this spring on the 180-foot Ryan Tower, which should be completed by spring 22. And we'll tie a lot of fundraising events around this. And it will be the iconic center for this campus. UNT Dallas is playing an important role in the Southern Gateway project, particularly our business faculty. The park is going up over I-35 near the zoo, and I hope it has the same effect that the Clyde Warren Park over the freeway has, at this time near our campus. We're also preparing huge impacts on police reform. The city is paying us to train every police officer on a cutting-edge program developed by the Georgetown Law Center Innovation and Policing Program. We'll be the first in Texas to bring this innovative training to the state, and Dallas is now at the front of the line. We're also leading the way on a first responder mental health peer training network. We've already received one large grant, and that'll allow us to start the network in North Texas. We're also exploring the possibility of bringing the Dallas Police Training Academy to land on the south side of our campus near the Dart line. With that, I'll ask Dr. Stewart to bring us up to date on academic affairs. Dr. Stewart?
Thank you, President Mong. Next slide, please. I'd like to welcome new members of the academic affairs community, beginning with Dr. Linda Muberry, Assistant Lab Manager in Liberal Arts and Sciences, Dr. Nicole Gibbs, Assistant Dean for Admissions and Scholarships at the College of Law, Paulina Romero, Director of our Learning Commons, Gabrielle Bowling, Director of the Community Youth Development Program, Felicia Garza and Erica Reed, Graduate School Part-Time Assistants. And I'd like to congratulate LaToya Ellis for being promoted to Assistant Registrar. Next slide. I'd also like to welcome some new faculty members, Professor Monica Ehrman, Professor Corey Harvey, Luz Roth, Monica Hayslip. And I'd like to take a little time to say farewell to someone who's very important to the UNT Dallas College of Law, Professor Ellen Pryor. Ellen joined the College of Law in January 2013 as Professor and Associate Academic Dean. Professor Pryor is the architect of the academic curriculum at the College of Law, and she was responsible for recruiting and hiring the inaugural faculty. Ellen is a native of Dallas, an alumna of Rice University and UT Austin Law School. She spent 27 years at SMU's Dedman School of Law before coming to UNT Dallas. Judge Ferguson used the following statement when Ellen came to the law school. She gave instant credibility to our College of Law. In February, Professor Pryor's name will be presented by President Mong and me to the Board of Regents for emeritus status. I'd like to thank Ellen for everything that she's done for the College of Law. We wouldn't be where we are today without her, and we sincerely appreciate everything she's done for us. Thank you, Ellen. Next slide. I just wanted to again thank the faculty, the deans, the staff, everyone for the outstanding work in transitioning to our virtual learning environment in 2020. Faculty, you've endured many challenges and remain committed to the students and to the mission of this university. I appreciate your resilience and your hard work in helping our students progress toward degree completion. Thank you. Next slide. I'd also like to give some academic points of light. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Nakia Douglas, Executive Director of the TRIO and Pre-Collegiate Programs, for being named one of the Dallas 500, which celebrates the most influential leaders in North Texas. I'd like to thank Dr. Noreen Khan for creating a STEM lab that will contain 6 3D printers for use by UNT Dallas faculty and students. And I'd like to send special thanks for the grant writing efforts of a number of faculty, Dr. Donna Hamilton, Dr. Constance Lacey, Dr. Janice Upshaw, Dr. James Abuzaki, Dr. Paul Reynolds, Dr. Muhammad Yusufuddin, Professor Angela Downs, Professor Cheryl Watley. Together, these groups have submitted over $2 million in grants. Thank you. Next slide. There's also been tremendous growth in our academic programs during this pandemic. We saw record enrollment in several of our programs and in the School of Business. We're beginning to add new programs to our curricular offerings. Our Master of Management program was approved by the coordinating board and has been submitted to the SACs for approval. In February, I will be submitting to the Board of Regents a Bachelor of Art with a major in Justice and Social Policy, an interdisciplinary program from the Departments of Sociology and Criminal Justice. And as we look forward to the spring semester, I would just like to remind everyone that classes begin Tuesday, January 19th at both the Dallas campus and the College of Law. The Dallas campus classes will be remote or online via Canvas. The College of Law classes will be remote or in person. The Dallas Law Center will open to faculty and staff on January 11th. Hours will be 8 to 6 p.m. for the week of January 11th through 15th. The Law Center and the Law Library will open to students on Tuesday, January 19th. Next slide. Please make sure that you submit any reopening plans for spring 2021 to Johnny Bullock by December 15th for review. And if faculty need to come to the Dallas campus to pick up course materials for the spring semester, please make sure you contact Mr. Bullock and Chief Shaw. And finally, next slide, I'd like to thank all of you for your work with our students, especially during this unprecedented time. I'm truly grateful to have colleagues who care so deeply about supporting the mission and vision of UNT Dallas through your work. And now you'll hear from our CFO, Arthur Bradford.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. Good morning, UNT Dallas. I am Arthur Bradford, and this is day number 70 for me. And I could not be more excited to be part of the UNT Dallas family and the mission of empowering students, transforming lives, and strengthening communities. Let's talk financials. Anytime we talk financials, I want us to look for the art in the numbers, ART. The A stands for the absolute numbers. What are the raw figures? R stands for the relative numbers. How do we compare versus budget versus prior year, and in some cases versus external benchmarks? The T stands for trend. Do we see any trends or patterns in the numbers? So again, anytime we talk financials, I want you to look for the art in the numbers. Next slide, please. In the upper left, we have revenues or inflows by year by category. For this fiscal year, we're forecasting revenues to be $75.1 million. This is the A in art, the absolute number. We're down $0.9 million versus budget, but up versus fiscal years 19 and 20. This is the R in art, the relative number versus budget in prior years. Year over year, we're trending up in revenues, which is a good thing. And again, this is the T in art, the trend. How are we trending? In the upper right, we have expenses or outflows, also by year, by category. For this fiscal year, we're forecasting expenses to be $77.8 million. Again, this is the absolute number. We're up $1.7 million versus budget and up versus fiscal years 19 and 20. Again, this is the relative value versus budget in prior years. Year over year, we're trending up in expenses. This is the T, the trend value. For fiscal year 19 actuals, revenues exceeded expenses by $1.5 million. For fiscal year 20 actuals, revenues exceeded expenses by $0.3 million. For fiscal year 21 budget, revenues and expenses were equal, which means that we set a balanced budget where inflows equal outflows. As mentioned for our fiscal year 21 forecast, revenues are below budget by $0.9 million, and expenses are over budget by $1.7 million. And when we combine these two, we currently have a budget deficit of $2.7 million, as you can see in the bottom chart there. Now it's early in the year, and we're looking very carefully at ways that we can help eliminate this deficit. And you know, we continue to beat expectations year after year after year, and I have no reason to think that this year will be any different. Next slide, please. There are 5 projects I'd like to update you on. First is the elevator replacement in Dal 1. Apparently, this elevator has been a source of terror for many of us. But the good news is that it is being completely gutted and replaced, and it should be completed by mid-January, and the work on elevator 2 will begin shortly thereafter. We have 2 new access roads onto campus, Lot 2 entrance off of University Hill Boulevard, and Lot 3 entrance off of Camp Wisdom Road. Next, Dr. Monica Williams and her team are moving over to the old library area in Founders Hall, and that will take place mid-January. Wisdom Hall, the backup generator, has been installed, and we're just waiting for some final sign-offs from the local authorities. And lastly, and the one that I am most excited about, is the College of Law exhibit. As you know, the building where our College of Law is has a rich history. In the building, this is the building where Lee Harvey Oswald was detained after the assassination of JFK on November 22nd, 1963. It is also the building where Lee Harvey Oswald was shot and killed by Jack Ruby only a couple of days later. We now have a museum exhibit in the College of Law building highlighting these events. I've seen it, and it is quite remarkable, and I would highly encourage you, once it's open to the public, to go down and take a look at it. That is all I have. Thank you for your time. And now I will hand it off to Stephanie Hawley, our Vice President of Student Access and Success. Stephanie?
Thank you, Arthur. Good morning, everyone. I would like to begin by saying how proud I am of our continued success at the university. I am especially proud of the work out of the Division of Student Access and Success. They have been connected through this difficult time like you, and have worked many hours to recruit, admit, advise, and support our students in a myriad of ways. We so appreciate our partners across the university who also support our students and work with us to solve problems. Thank you so much. In the spirit of the holidays, I'd like to bring some more good cheer. First, I'd like to start with our welcome and introductions to our new staff members. If you could go to the next slide. In financial aid and scholarships, we have Dariella Flores Carrillo. She's our financial aid counselor that has been the newest member to join. We have a couple of others coming. I'll be excited to announce those to you next time. Next slide. Undergraduate admissions, we have Karen Alvarado, an admission counselor, which is our freshman recruiter team member. Trong Hong, who is an admission processor, and Latara Newell, who is also an admission processor. Next slide. In Student Affairs, we have Devin Walker, who is the Coordinator of Disability Services, Bailey Bracken, our Career Advisor, and Allison Scott, a member of our counseling team. Next slide. Academic Advising and Student Success, we have Tiffany Kelly, an Academic Advisor, Miranda Marin, an Academic Advisor, and Malik Oliver, our Student Services Associate in the Testing Center. Next. And then in Strategic Enrollment and Student Administration, and many of you know her, we have Laura Huddleston, who is the director of that new department, a replacement and an update to Kim Kearney's position, who many of you all know. So we're very happy to have Laura from the registrar's office, and congratulations on her promotion. Next slide, please. So I'd like to visit with you a little bit about spring enrollment. The president mentioned our record success in both the summer and the fall. So we are so proud of the work that was done during the pandemic to get us to this place. And things are still looking up, and I'm really excited to share, and I'm going to give you some newer numbers than the ones that you're looking at on the screen. We have a goal of 8% growth for the spring. That's a big goal. Not many schools set a goal of 8%. Not many schools ever achieve a goal of 8%. But UNT Dallas is different. We're special. We have an amazing mission, and we've been performing better than most in our region for sure. So for the spring, our overall head count, and I'm not going to confuse you with the new numbers, but just to tell you that we are now 20% up overall. That means that we are 20% ahead of where we were last spring. Those are the numbers that we look at to make sure that we're on track and to see where we actually will be as we move along in the semester. In our semester credit hour area, we are 15% up overall today. Our undergraduate headcount is 23% up this morning, and our credit hours are 16% up. So excellent job to the undergraduate team working on those numbers. Graduate school has another great situation brewing. Headcount is up today 16%, and the credit hours are up 21%. Thanks so much to the graduate school for the hard work there and for all the faculty and leaders of those programs. They're looking fantastic. And then the College of Law, last but not least, the headcount is up 6%, and this morning the credit hours are up 7%. So thank you so much to our College of Law team. You all lifted us in these last semesters, and we so appreciate what you're doing there, your mission, and how it contributes to our overall success. And next, we have Dr. Monica Williams. She is the Vice President of University Advancement and President of the UNT Dallas Foundation. Dr. Williams.
Good morning and greetings to everyone. I hope everyone in the Trailblazer family has been safe and okay, along with your families, despite that the pandemic has presented many challenges to our country and our world. This is my favorite time of year, and even though we faced so many challenges in 2020, I could not be more proud of the great work all of you have accomplished. The Division of University Advancement has worked seamlessly during the transition to a virtual campus, and I'd like to share just a few of our accomplishments. Next slide, please. Many of you participated in the development of the university strategic planning process. While the University Advancement Division supports all 6 of our goals in some way or another, the goals where we have quantifiable measures are in goals 5 and 6. Maintaining a healthy balance sheet by increasing grants, philanthropy, and alumni participation, and reimagining the 10-year celebratory events. In making the most of our best partnerships, we are committed to growing the Caruth Police Institute's influence and reach, and increasing partnerships with the Dallas Independent School District, emerging as a thought leader through the Center of Socioeconomic Mobility through Education, and finally, realizing the full potential of our relationship with Emmett Smith. Next slide. Within the Department of Alumni Relations and Development, led by Derek Morgan, we have been able to gain approval from the Board of Regents for our $10+ million quasi-endowment that will generate much needed and well-deserved scholarship funds for our students in 2021. And I think that deserves a round of applause. At the end of fiscal year 20, we're pleased to report that we raised more than $1.7 million in foundational and institutional gifts. And our total endowment at the close of FY20 was nearly $2 million. We have also been able to quickly establish scholarships in memoriam to honor the legacies of our colleagues who passed away this year. On a brighter note, our fight song and Alma Mater were produced and recorded, and you'll be able to hear vocalists Candy and Alonzo Keaton tomorrow night when they sing the Alma Mater at our commencement. Finally, we completed our very first alumni engagement survey, garnering great support and participation and valuable feedback. And so we're really excited to be able to replicate that again in 2021. Next slide, please. In the area of marketing and communication, Yolanda Franklin has done an amazing job reorganizing the department. She has completed a full analysis of the department and has worked tirelessly to ensure that we are serving all departments and have close coordination of work at the College of Law through Victor McLaughlin. Our billboards continue to be placed prominently around the Metroplex. Before the pandemic, Yolanda worked closely with me to establish our 10-year anniversary brand and messaging. And while we had to delay our celebrations until later in 2021, we will share the collaborative work of Yolanda, her team, and the 1820 Productions, who we hired to help us develop our 10-year anniversary video, which you will hear at the end of today's presentation. For the first time, we will be sending out an end of the year appeal to donors and friends of UNT Dallas in an effort to increase year-end giving. Yolanda and Derek worked together collaboratively to get this campaign rolled out. So thanks to both of them. I'll just want to say that Yolanda's team has been amazing, starting with Jared Horn, whom you all know, and his extraordinary work of capturing the UNTD story through his crafty videography. He develops, writes, produces, and edits content for all university videos, creates and maintains the website, and ensures search engine optimization and Canopy deployment. New to the team, if you go on to the next slide, and then after that, are Alexandria Williams and Erin Mcmillan. Alexandria composes the daily messages disseminated to the UNT Dallas community. She's responsible for preparing all social media posts and will author the On the Move magazine, and she works closely with each school to develop marketing and promotions plans. Next slide. Erin, too, has hit the ground running by creating designs for recruitment materials, the strategic plan, social media, commencement, internal and external ads, holiday cards, on the move, North Texas Food Bank messaging, our town hall messaging, esports, and athletics, just to name a few. He's really been busy, and I love his work. On to the next slide. In the Department of External Relations and Special Events, Cynthia Perez is doing an exceptional job. Congratulations to Cynthia, who was promoted in September to Executive Director. She has been busy reimagining our special events, and she works closely with Dr. Sabrina Hodge in the flagship Trailblazer Elite program, as well as with the MJ Conrad Leadership Program, which we recently inherited from Senator Royce West. Cynthia continues to advance new programs, including SparkPoint and 826, which we hope to fully launch in 2021. If you haven't seen a copy yet, we will be sharing with you the new book, Faceless, which was produced and written by the Trinidad Garza students in the partnership for 826. And so it's a great book. They just arrived to campus a few weeks ago, and if you are interested in obtaining a copy of Faceless, please reach out to Cynthia directly. Next slide. Dr. Sabrina Hodge has been blazing many trails since she arrived. She and I work closely with Stephanie Hawley and Cynthia Perez to lead Trailblazer Elite. And then there's a little bit of Micah Williams in the mix for that too. She has the best marketing and branding materials I've seen yet, and she does so much to motivate the students. All of this, and she is also running the MJ Conrad program. And so we're really so excited to have Sabrina and the work that she's doing to help us to elevate both of those programs. And finally, last but not least, is Alicia Brosset, who continues to do amazing work. As you can see, we have a running total of awards from multiple sources, both federal, state, and local. We're running $13.5 million in grants. And since the beginning of the fiscal year, we have submitted 6 proposals totaling $6.2 million. Thank you all. I hope you each have a wonderful holiday season. And thanks for the opportunity to present President Mon. Now I'll pass it on to Yolanda Franklin.
Thank you, Dr. Williams, and good morning, Trailblazers. So this year will be remembered for many, many things. But one exciting milestone that we can all share is the 10-year anniversary of UNT Dallas. It's been a decade since we welcomed our first freshman class. The university planned several celebrations and activities for fall 2020 to help mark the occasion. However, we were unable to fulfill those plans because of the pandemic. And while the pandemic has delayed our 10-year celebration, we are moving forward with plans to celebrate our 10+1 in 2021. But we didn't want the year to pass without acknowledging our anniversary. So we continued on preparing a video to celebrate all of the accomplishments that you, our students, faculty, and staff, helped the university achieve in the last decade. We hope you enjoy it. Please cue the video.
For 10 extraordinary years, the University of North Texas at Dallas has embraced its mission to provide an affordable, accessible, and quality college education. With a student body that is 85% minority, UNT Dallas is the only university in the city to focus on urban Dallas students, providing a pathway to a bachelor's degree, a rewarding career, and lifelong socioeconomic mobility. UNT Dallas has set the standard for affordability, with the lowest tuition costs in Dallas-Fort Worth and the lowest student debt upon graduation among all public universities in Texas. Those factors and a commitment to career-ready education has distinguished UNT Dallas as the fastest growing public university in Texas. In 2010, the university welcomed its first incoming freshman class, In 2013, UNT Dallas celebrated its first graduating class of transfer students. As the university continued to grow, the College of Law admitted its first class in 2014, followed by the opening of the graduate school in 2018. UNT Dallas began its transition from commuter school to residential campus in 2017 with the opening of Wisdom Hall. In 2019, the $63 million Student Center opened, becoming the hub of student life on the main campus, while a $71 million renovation transformed historic Old City Hall into the new UNT Dallas Law Center. The achievements haven't stopped. UNT Dallas was recognized for its emerging academic prowess and its low student debt, as well as its strong capability to deliver its full curriculum in a virtual format. More history will be made in the 2020-2021 academic year, with the inaugural Trailblazer athletic teams competing in the Sooner Athletic Conference. The university will continue to explore new and innovative ways to make a college degree accessible and affordable for all. UNT Dallas, we empower students, transform lives, and strengthen communities.
Thank you, Yolanda, for putting that together. It was great. I want to get to the questions now. It's terrific, all the new employees that were featured today, but I want to make a special welcome back to Paulina Romero. It's so good to have you back on campus. I just want to remind everybody what Monica said, that we just added $10.8 million to our endowment, and the revenues from that will be used for scholarships. And another reminder, we have 500 employees, and the economic benefits to that flow into our community. And we have spent $150 million in the last 4 years on new construction at our southern campus and at our College of Law. And that makes a big difference. And we lead the state. Now, all Texas four-year universities, all 38 of them, we lead the state in percentage of dollars that go to historically underutilized business. So do we have any questions?
Yes, President Mullins. Our first question starts off as a comment, and this person would like to thank the campus leadership for keeping everyone safe. They also ask if there's been a determination of what the summer semester will look like, and if not, when will that decision be made?
That's a hot topic. You know, we had hoped that with the vaccine, we would be able to return to hybrid or more face-to-face classes in the summer. I don't think we're at a place now where we can make any kind of commitment. If we can't do it for summer 1, we'll try to do it for summer 2. But we'll just have to read and react to circumstances. Steve or Jamaica or John, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but that's, I think we're just going to have to wait and see.
This is John Bullock. If you watch what's happening, the vaccine is going to begin to be distributed here pretty quickly, but because of the amount of people that need the vaccination, it's going to be in a 3-part rollout. And needless to say, academics, students, those type things are down the list. So for us to have vaccinations on our campus, we're probably looking at the latter part of the spring and the very first part of the summer. So depending on when those arrive and we're able to be able to receive those vaccinations, we're still going to have to function the way we are now. And so that still continues on until probably early summer. And that's what we are seeing and what we're hearing.
So, President Mung, I'll add a little bit. This is Steve Maroszewski, and I concur with everything John said. I just want to add that we're in communication along with other institutions with the governor to attempt to move universities up on the list. It's probably not likely, but we're working toward that. If that's possible, things might change a bit, but I think Johnny's exactly correct that we're looking late spring.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, John. Yolanda?
Yes, our next question is about the College of Law. This person wants to know, has there been any details or any determination regarding graduation for College of Law? Graduation ceremonies.
I don't think so. My guess is it'll be virtual. But is Dean Epps on the line, or Dr. Stewart like to add to my comments?
President Mong, we haven't made a determination on the College of Law's commencement for May 2021 yet.
Thank you. Obviously, we would love to have in-person graduation ceremonies at both the main campus and College of Law. As we've said before, we've just taken a very conservative approach to it. I did look at having in addition to the virtual ceremony, a 2-day in-person, very slowly unfolding in person, where a graduate could walk the stage. But when we brought the plan to the county health officer, they urged us in the strongest terms, please don't do that. So we didn't do it. So I think that's the best answer we can give you right now. But thank you for the question.
So our next question is about how and where fall 2020 commencement has been promoted. I think I can actually answer that question. After the town hall event ends, there will be a big splash on the homepage, which will make it easy for everyone's friends and family members to find the link to view commencement, scheduled for tomorrow at 6 p.m. We've also promoted our commencement ceremonies via our social media posts and in our daily emails. President Mong, I think our last question deals with the delayed start date for spring 2021. We just need to make sure that people understand that there is no shortened semester. Can you or would Dr. Stewart like to speak on that one?
Yeah, we can both speak to it. We extended the winter break by a week, and so instead of starting on the 12th of January, we're starting on the 19th. We did that after consulting with the university community and also deliberating among the campus leadership. We did do away with spring break. We eliminated spring break. There will be Good Friday will be a free day, and we'll end the semester on time. We'll abide by our calendar. So we should be in good shape and not lose any days. Dr. Stewart, do you have anything to add to that?
President Mong, that is correct. We will have a 16-week long semester and 2 8-week shorter semesters.
Thank you.
We have one late question. This one is about the science building. It says, as you mentioned, the science building is vital to continued growth. Is there anything that faculty and staff can do to increase justification for this new building?
There may be opportunities. I've already testified once to this one to the Legislative Budget Board. I will have many opportunities, probably around 8, to testify to various committees and subcommittees, House appropriations, House higher ed, Senate appropriations, Senate higher ed, and then I usually get called into meetings on short notice for other committees, and so I'll look for opportunities to include campus members, students, faculty members, if it's appropriate. Again, we're entering a strange legislative session too. They're going to, a lot of it's going to be virtual. I don't know how much of it's going to be in person. And so we'll have to kind of read and react to that too. But I appreciate the offer. Dr. Stewart, you want to talk about the growth in those science programs? It's off the charts.
Yes, President Mung, I would like to thank the STEM faculty for just participating in growing the programs. The best thing that we can do to help us to work toward the STEM building is to keep growing in the programs. Biology has seen a 2,000% increase in enrollment. Information technology has seen an 1,800% increase in enrollment. Public health has seen about a 1,200% increase in enrollment. So all of these things are positives and move us forward in showing the need for this building. So from a faculty and staff point of view, please continue to increase enrollment. Growth forces change, and so you can help us there tremendously. And we thank you so far for everything you've done to grow our programs, and we really appreciate that work.
I would also say that, thank you, Dr. Stewart. I also would like to thank our collaboration with system planning and facilities in working with us to develop a new master plan that was approved by the Board of Regents in November. Any of you, the Faculty Senate, Staff Council, I did brief the Staff Council on the master plan. Be happy to do it to student government as well. But it's a great document. It gives you a sense of how we progress from 4,200 where we are now to 8,000 and then on to 25,000. And the fact that we are growing and can grow for 4 straight years at record pace, puts us, I think, on a trajectory for about 8,000 at 2030. So it's happening, but we do need infrastructure to support that growth. Let us know if you haven't seen the master plan. We'd be happy to find times to show that to you. Anything else, Yolanda?
Yes, we've got a few more questions coming in. We had one asking about the 10-year anniversary video. Will that be available on YouTube? Absolutely. We wanted to launch it first here at the town hall, but we will make that video available on YouTube as soon as the meeting ends. We have another question that asks, as we look out for the science building, is there a plan to increase the number of IT programs at UNT Dallas?
I'll ask Dr. Stewart to answer that. Obviously a hot field.
We have some great opportunities for information technology and cybersecurity, and I'd also like to remind the president about our JP Morgan Chase grant that also has some IT opportunities there. So yes, we are looking forward to increasing programs. We just need to make sure that we have the correct infrastructure and the faculty to teach in those programs, and especially information technology.
Thank you. That JP Morgan Chase grant that Dr. Stewart referred to, that's a 5-year, $7 million grant to increase, excuse me, workforce in North Texas. And UNT Dallas is the only 4-university part of that program. Dallas College is part of the grant, and the Dallas ISD. So Dr. Stewart and I worked hard to make sure UNT Dallas was part of that grant. I also want to thank Dr. Monica Williams. She referred to the song that you'll hear at commencement, both the school song and the, I guess, fight song, whatever you want to call it. Both of them were developed by her brother, who is an entertainment attorney, and I think they're both quite remarkable. And the alma mater is absolutely beautiful. So thank you, Dr. Williams. Any other questions, Yolanda?
Yes. What are the plans to increase residence hall space?
Well, if you look at the master plan, it shows an addition of about 1,000 beds to allow us to be a more residential campus. And I think Steve Marichevsky could and Arthur could vouch for this. I think a residence hall is the easiest way for us to have a public-private partnership where we could work with business to develop those, without having to raise money entirely through university funding. We can't get help from the legislature for residence hall, but our goal is to become an increasingly residential campus and offer that option. Steve, do you have anything to add to that?
Just to expand on it, as we've talked, President Mung, I think it's a great opportunity for a public-private partnership to move the ball faster, in terms of finding the resources we need to finance the construction. So I look forward to working with you on that in the short-term future.
Thank you. Good question.
Okay, President Mung, we have another question. Can the master plan be sent to the campus community?
Yes. Absolutely. We can, Yolanda, you can post it on the, one of the daily pages. We can put it up on our website if it's not there. I thought it was there, but if it's not, we can put it up there. Thank you. Good question.
And we have someone who wants some information about how why did we change from Jaguars to Trailblazers?
That was a long process that we took to student government. I think everybody we still kept the Jaguar as our logo, our mascot, but we felt in consulting with the students that we wanted something less generic and something more specific to who we are as a university that attracts so many first-generation students. And the ultimate back and forth ended with the name Trailblazer. So it was a 2-year process working with student government, trying to find the right way forward to a name that was more relevant and probably germane to who we are, what our mission is in reality. And student government signed off on it. The compromise was they loved the Jaguar, so the little cat is still on there and as our mascot, and the name changed. I hope that's a complete enough answer. Dr. Williams, do you have anything to add to that, or Dr. Chappell?
Yes, sir. We did. Once we got we narrowed down the options to 3 choices. We had this is before we had the student center completed. So we were over in 138 in Founders Hall with those big posters where people could come in and vote on the new name. And so that's been nearly 3 years ago. And that's how the cat continued. Overwhelmingly, the students, SGA, those who participated in the polling said overwhelmingly they wanted to keep the cat. And Dr. Chappell, you may have something to add to that, because I'm sure you probably got a little more in the weeds with the student responses, but I do recall that the cat was the trail. They loved the name Trailblazer, but the cat they wanted to keep.
Yes, Dr. Williams, thank you. You're right. There was a profound response that if we did anything, it was fine to change the mascot to Trailblazer, but that no expense should be spared to make sure that we save the cat. And we did, in fact, save the cat. So thanks for all who participated in that. And really, y'all, the work that you all do, everything from the students to the faculty and the staff, y'all really are trailblazers. And I think it's befitting for the work, the commitment, the courage, the responsibility, the accountability that you have for yourself and your success and the success of all of our students. So trailblazers we are, and trailblazers we shall be.
Well put. Yolanda, any other questions?
We have a few more. One
Okay.
question asking, when will the names of our upcoming graduates be displayed? And I can answer that one. Although our commencement ceremony is virtual, we are creating a commencement program. So links to that commencement program will be distributed on Friday. Our next question is, due to the pandemic, is there a waiver for GRE for those applying to grad school?
So I can answer that one. Currently, the GRE is only required in one of our programs. So you don't have to worry about having a GRE unless you're applying to our counseling program. I don't think we can waive the GRE for counseling because I think that's a part of the accrediting body's requirement. But all other programs, the GRE has been waived in terms of applying to graduate school.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. Our next question is, are there plans for building a child care facility on campus?
Yes. In the master plan on the along Camp Wisdom Road, there is a area for a child care center, and it would be also, I think, closely tied to our School of Education to provide some training for those who, since many of our education graduates teach in the primary grade. So this is still, in the developmental stage, but we want to do it. I think it would be a huge advantage for us, both in recruiting and retaining students, staff and faculty. So we're highly motivated to get it done, but it is in the master plan. The timing is just up in the air right now. The Health Science Center opened in Fort Worth. The UNT Health Science Center opened Child Care Center in Fort Worth, and they outsource it to the Nina Pope Homes. It's likely that we would outsource the center to an entity that specializes in that sort of thing. But that's our plan right now. I wish I could give you a time when it will be up and running, but it is in the plan, and that's an important new development.
Thank you, President Long. Our next question is, can we schedule an overview of the master plan that's similar to the town hall meeting?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah, we'll get back, we'll publicize that. We'd be happy to.
Okay, and we have one question asking for an update on how well the UNT Dallas athletics team is doing this semester.
Well, I would say that they've lost more than they've won, but they've been competitive. The men's team is doing pretty well. A rival coach called our men's team very disciplined. They've won a few games. Our women's team, I know, have won at least one game. And I was there that night. Dr. Williams and I were both there. They're good competitive teams. And our cross-country team competed. So I think, we're starting small. We want to get it right. We have an athletics committee that Derek Morgan heads. And I'm sure anybody who's interested in athletics on campus, feel free to reach out to Derek with your thoughts. He meets frequently. I think the next athletic committee meeting is around January 14th. I might have that slightly wrong, but that's generally when it's going to be. And they have a good agenda. So again, we're trying to get off start. We have Marcus Harris is our compliance officer. Dr. Erin Bartul is the faculty representative. We have faculty, staff, students on the committee. So again, we're trying to do it right, get off to a good start.
Great, President Mon, I think that ends our Q&A portion at this time.
Okay. Anybody else on the leadership team have anything to say before we sign off? Well, Michael, I want to thank you for being the impresario of this town hall. And just a reminder about commencement tomorrow that will be available at 6 p.m. You'll be able to hear our new songs, and you'll be able to see our graduates. Anybody else have anything before we sign off? Well, thanks to all of you for participating. If other questions come in, we'll answer them and get back to you. So thank you very much.